Thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. We did tell you before that break that on the program this morning, we intend to take a look at the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest happening not only in Abuja, but also in some selected states across Nigeria, including Lagos. We have our guest in the studio this morning, but we're also connecting with the Abuja Bureau Chief, Adegboyega Arogbodo, who will be giving us the situation report on ground in Abuja at the moment. Before we cross to Adegboyega, Mr. Balabalawale, thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Right, of course, Mr. Balabalawale is a senior colleague, is a columnist, and of course, he'll be weighing in on this conversation this morning. But let's quickly hear from Adegboyega Arogbodo, who is joining us via Zoom from Abuja. Good morning, Adegboyega. We can hear you. Go ahead. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Right. So tell us, what's the situation on ground at the moment in Abuja? We understand as early as 7 a.m. the protesters had gathered, but they were dispersed by police officers. Bring us up to speed with what you have.
Right now, the environment is even cooler. It's a bit solemn. Like around that 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., the entire central area was so tight. When I say the central area, you're talking about, from Maitama to Wuse to the 3 arm zone, then to, Asokoro here. So the whole area was so tense then. And even if you are coming from all the adjoining roads that leads to the federal capital, as from Kaduna, from Nasarawa, the whole area was so tense this morning. You have all the checkpoints, and you have the terrible hold-up. In fact, I left my place, just something that would take me 15 minutes to the central town, where I spent almost 3 hours. So, but by the time we got to the main town, you could see the whole environment is falling on. In fact, you cannot connect to the 3 arm zone in any way, either by foot or by people or any way. You see all the police and security operatives at the major street that leads to the central, that leads to the 3 arm zone. That's if you're coming from transport side, and if you're coming from the defense headquarters, or if you're coming from even our office here, Lagos House, that's very close to the Ministry of Finance. You can see at our back there, that's the junction where the security operatives have to stop us and make sure that we cannot connect to further. So even if you are going to the villa right now, out of the 7 gates that enter the villa, I think it's only 1 or 2 that are open now.
Okay.
People who are ready, who have the ID tag that can enter the So right now, there's no way anybody protected can enter this strategic area.
Okay.
And make sure that even this morning when Shore was trying to gather his people very close to Mitama, that's before you get to transport, that's before you get to the Unity Fountain side. Now it has to be dispersed. And there have been sporadic shooting of tear gas everywhere. Even where we are standing here right now, because now that everything is relaxed.
Okay.
So I can't see me for 1 hour ago, you cannot stand here.
Right.
The tear gas was being exploding every 10 minutes. So, and they make sure that people cannot pass through. So if you are going to Braga, you are going to Wuse, you are going to the main town.
Okay.
They won't pass through this street. That's why this street is a bit busy.
Right. But the situation at the moment is calm, and business activities, of course, have resumed, because we see right behind you, of course, petty traders are already also, going about their normal businesses. Is that correct, Adegboyega? Okay. Adegboyega, did you get me? I very much doubt if you got my response there. All right.
He's back.
Okay. Let's quickly wrap up with you, Adegboyega, right? So everything is back to normal now, and everybody is going about their normal businesses.
Yes. Sometimes everywhere is relaxed now.
Okay.
But people are just saying that, well, maybe they will come back in another part of the town, because they heard that they are around area 1 this morning, around area, that they are trying to come back. But right now, we've not heard anything. Our boys are out.
Okay.
The contractors who have come to Tanzania, that nothing is really happening for now.
Okay. All right, Adegboyega, would like for you to keep us abreast of the situation. Should there be any need for us to connect with you before the end of the conversation, feel free to reach back to us in the studio, and we'll definitely come back to you there. Thank you so much, Adigbega, for standing by and giving us a brief of what is going on there at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Let's come back here, of course, to speak with Mr. Bolawale. Mr. Bolawale, let's just quickly take a look at, these agitation for freeing Nnamdi Kanu, which has resulted into a protest. Do you think that the protesters led by Omoyele Sowore have a right to do what it is they are doing at the moment, even though we know that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria clearly states that, there's the fundamental human rights, but is it absolutely free here in this regard?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Sowore has the right to do what he's doing. I think that the people he has gathered to also, they have the right to do it. Protest is a fundamental human right, particularly in a democracy. We are operating a democracy. So freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of association. I do not see what is happening in totally a negative light. I see it also in a positive light. It shows that our democracy is growing. In the past, nobody will be able to do this.
Okay.
In the past, nobody will be able to gather. In the past, we'll have been counting the number of deaths. They will have been shooting, they will be killing people. Even ordinary students protesting, we record casualties in the past. But now, people can protest freely, they can gather. The only thing they do is they stop them from getting to one part of the place or the other. Sensitive areas, they are even abroad, it happens like that. There are areas that you are precluded from going to. It is only that in those places, people, even protesters, they obey rules and regulations. They know there is a limit to protest. Here you want to protest and disrupt everything. You don't want everybody to go about their normal duties. You want to compel people to join you. You are exercising your own right to say no. Then you prevent other people from exercising their own right to say yes. You have a right to protest and to say, I am not going to work. I have a right to say, I don't want to protest. I want to go to work. You have a right to say that you are marching. I have a right to say that I'm not marching. I'm walking to my place of work.
Right.
But you want to exercise your own right of protest. You want to deny me my own fundamental human rights of not protesting. That has been the problem we have here. I think it is high time we started lecturing our people to understand that protests do not have to be violent.
Right.
It is not when you get violent that government will listen to you, will understand that you have grievances. You have to understand that now that government is allowing protest, it wasn't like that in the past. Government is accepting that this is a democracy and that people have a right to protest. The people themselves who are now enjoying this right unhindered should also understand that there is a limit to that right. Like they say, your own right starts where my own stops. So, and my own stops where your own starts. I cannot be exercising my own right and be precluding you from exercising yours. So I think the protesters ought to understand that. If the court has said, don't go to so and so areas, obey the court. But if you say that you are protesting, you are in a democracy and you are lawless, you are not law-abiding, then it gives another impression of you entirely. So we must obey the rule of law. We must also recognize, acknowledge, and respect the rights of other people. You are saying no, I have a right to say yes. You are saying yes, I have a right to say no. You cannot take your own rights and deny me of my own rights. I think that is the areas where we still need to fine-tune these protests that Sowore and the others are embarking upon. They have a right to protest, but under the law, and within the ambit of also respecting the rights of other people to say, we are not protesting.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand the reasoning of the members of the Take It Back movement, as well as Sowore himself. There is a court order restraining them from going ahead with these protests. And why would anybody come out there and demand for the unconditional release of somebody who is having the cases of treasonable felony, terrorism hanging around his neck? And you are telling government to release this man unconditionally at a particular time like this, 20th of October, 2025, 5 years ago when we had NSAS protests.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is political. The people who are protesting are not ordinary people. They are politicians. They are activists. Sowore has been a presidential candidate. He has contested the election, I think, twice. So he's not an ordinary person. He's a politician. And he's a politician that is in opposition to the present government, to the present president. So you can't see him as just a civil rights person. No, he's a politician. He has a political interest. He has a political alignment, and whatever he's doing must be seen from the prism of a political activist who is opposed to the government in power and who is doing everything possible to demarket that government so that he can increase his own political
sympathy.
Yeah. So that is what he's doing. So he's just using all this Kanu or whatever as convenient excuse. He's just using it to mobilize support for his own political worldview and things like that. So it is not just that he's disinterested. He's not a disinterested person who is just protesting for the sake of protest or for the sake of releasing Kanu. Kanu is just a convenient excuse for them. Now, having said that, I do not agree that the court should say that people should not protest. No. I don't think that the court should ban protest. Protest is a fundamental right. No court should tell people not to protest. The only thing you can set limits. You can say protest must be violence-free. You cannot go to sensitive areas because national security is important. Everywhere, national security is treated as sacrosanct. Even in the advanced countries that we are copying, you cannot do anything in breach of national security in those places. They won't allow it. So here again, we must understand that there must be national security. There are areas that you cannot just go and protest. And there are services that you don't disrupt, even when you are protesting. Even in advanced countries, you can't prevent medical doctors, you can't prevent them from getting to a place of work. Otherwise, lives will be lost. People will die in the hospitals. You can't prevent people who are providing essential services not to provide. It's only here that they will cut gas, they will cut this, they will cut that. Essential services are precluded from this kind of thing so that people do not suffer unnecessarily. The reason why you are protesting is not to make people suffer. It is to alleviate their suffering. But here when you now protest, you increase the suffering of the people. Like the one we had the other time, the price of gas suddenly shot through the roof, and people did not bargain for something, had to be running helter-skelter. It shouldn't be so. So when you are protesting, you protest within limits. Concerning this Kanu issue, I think that government is to blame.
How?
And it is not the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is government as a continuum is to blame. This man was arrested when? He had been on trial for when? For how long? Why have they not concluded the trial? Why is the trial dragging? Simon Ekpa is a lieutenant, was arrested in Finland when? He has been tried within months. He has been sentenced. So he's now in prison. Nobody can say release Simon Ekpa because he has passed through the law. He has had his day in court. Let this man have his day in court and let the court pass judgment on him. If he had been tried, either he has been set free or he has been sentenced and is in prison. Nobody can now say, come and release a prisoner that has passed through because of the law. It is because they have just kept him there. What are they keeping him there for? What is the reason? Is it that they don't have evidence? If they don't have evidence to try him, then let him go. If you have evidence, then try him.
I like the angle which you've come in now, which is again to talk about this particular man and why his continued incarceration is beginning to cause some kind of problem. We do know that he's been detained on charges of terrorism, treason and incitement, and the Take It Back movement and others are saying that government should release him unconditionally. And you've also stated here that you do not understand why this seems to be dragging. So for the protesters, should the agitation for his unconditional release be what they should be fighting for, or be fighting that he be given speedy and fair trial?
Exactly. You see, that is why we do the right thing the wrong way. You see, we want to protest, we are protesting for the wrong reasons. Is release Kanu the major problem that we have in this country? How many people are affected? There are issues that affect us. issues the ASU people are, it doesn't, we are not bothered about that. We have not seen the end of Pengazan, Nupeng, Dangote, something. We are not bothered about that. There are a lot of issues that should bother us. We are not bothered about that. We are bothering ourselves about a release Kanu. If Kanu is released today, what does it put bread on my table? Does it pay my children's school fees? Does it pay my NEPA bill if I'm on Band-Aid? How does it address my problems? It doesn't address my problems. So that is not even our immediate problems. I think protesters should focus on the immediate problems of the people. They are just using this. That's why I said it's politically motivated. Kanu is not the problem of the ordinary man. It's not the issue with the ordinary man on the street. If you go out there and ask people, I think about 90% of our people won't even understand what you're talking about. They won't even know who is Kanu. They will be asking you, what is the problem? Or who is this person? They are called Kali and so on, things like that. That is another one angle. Another thing is that I don't even understand why the Lagos State government, for example, cannot bring charges against the same Kanu. Many states where NSA protesters destroyed properties, killed people on the instruction of this man. I don't see any reason why they are just folding their arms. Why they too cannot bring charges against him and try him in their own courts. Lagos should try him because he caused extensive damage in Lagos. People were killed in Lagos. He should answer for that. Even if the state government should, even if the federal government should release him today, I will insist that Lagos state government should pick him up and try him for the crimes he committed in Lagos against Lagosians. I was one of the people who suffered during that. Yeah. So he should not. They cannot just come and say you should release a mass murderer unconditionally. How can you say that somebody who disrupted the economy of the entire Southeast, who masterminded the killing of uncountable number of innocent people? There was a time that one of his commanders was killed, and he said they should bury him with 2,000 heads. They should kill 2,000 people and bury that man with 2,000 heads, not goats, human beings. And I read recently that one of his commanders that was arrested said they only managed to get 30 heads. Can you imagine? They managed to get 30 heads, 30 people. They killed 30 people in retaliation for the death of that person. And Kanu commanded that they should kill 2,000. And these 2,000 are not animals. They are human beings. And they are not even people outside of his own Igbo tribe. You say you are fighting for the liberation of some people and you are killing them. You say you are fighting for the liberation of people, you are destroying their economy. This stay-at-home order that he gave, many people died. Yes. People who did not even know, people, travelers who were just passing by. I had an in-law that spent 4 days in hiding. Because of this, he was coming from our redemption camp after a meeting, and then their vehicle broke down on the road, and then stayed at home, caught up with them. He had to stay in the bush for 4 days, no food, no water, no nothing. Before they said that the road had cleared, they could come out again. They had to be in the bush in their car. What kind of thing is that? So such a person cannot be released unconditionally. Right. If they do, other parts of the country will rise up against it.
Okay. So how careful should the federal government be, and what are the things that the federal government should do at this particular point in time? And in particular, security agents, so that these do not snowball into another crisis?
They should hasten up the trial of Kanu and let the court dispense with his case quickly. We have seen how that of Simon Ekpa was dispensed of quickly in Finland. That tells you that here we still have systemic problems. Those systemic issues are what are causing some of these problems. That's number one. Number two, I do not think that Sowore should be treated with kid gloves. He has a right to protest, but process has limits. If he oversteps the bounds, we should not be considering what the international community will say, because those international community themselves, they do not allow lawlessness in their own space. So if he is lawless here, he should be made to face the rigors of the law. Not that he should be arrested and put in you arrest him. Most of the what they do that they arrest him. He is there for a few hours. And then they release him out again. So he's emboldened to do more. So if you have anything against him, arrest him. Take him to court. Let the court try him. If he's found guilty, let them sentence him. If he's sentenced, if he's in jail, everybody will know that for committing so and so offense, he was taken to court, and the court has tried the case. If he's not satisfied with the judgment of the High Court, he can go to appellate court. He can go to the Supreme Court, and once the courts have exhausted, when he has exhausted all the courts, that is the end. But in a situation where you arrest somebody, you don't have charges against him, or you have flimsy charges, you arrested him, and then you are afraid. Some people talk to you, you release him again, he goes back again, he commits another offense. Nobody will take you seriously. That is what is happening. It's like play thing. It's like actually that we are watching comedy. And I don't think it should be so.
You did say earlier, I mean, and from what Jibola asked you and your response now, that the federal government needs to speed up the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. Others are also alluding to the facts that Nnamdi Kanu himself is also playing some gimmicks and some games while he's also in incarceration. Days ago, he did say that he was not fit to stand trial, and the Nigerian Medical Association's panel who saw him said he's actually fit and okay to stand trial. So for this personality himself, is he also not, playing some games with the federal government or his incarceration, continued incarceration in court? Allegedly, some have also said he's also using this to raise more funds while he's also there in prisons. What can you say about this?
You see, if he does that, it's legitimate. I don't know whether now somebody is on trial and he wants to use every weapon to defend himself. If he can stall, he will stall. And he's not the only one who has been doing that. You know that in court cases.
A routine.
Is routine. You take somebody to court, it is then that he will faint in court. You have not been seen them fainting in court. And then the next moment, the person will come in wheelchair. The person who fainted in the morning in court on a Friday, by 12 noon, he was seen saying Allah Akbar, he was praying. The person who fainted. You see, so it is the gimmick of somebody who is on trial. It's not only Kanu that has been doing that. People who are taken to court for corruption, they will faint. Right. People who are before the Senate answering questions about something, they will faint there. And then immediately they faint, they say, oh, let him go, let him go, let him go. That is the end. So if he is doing that, it's legitimate. But we are the ones that lawyers know how to handle such cases. So I do not think it is Kanu's abracadabra that has stalled his case up to this point. Okay. It may have played a part, but not the most important part. So government should be able to do something about his antics and make sure that the trial of this man is speeded up so that we can foreclose the issue. And then there will be no excuse for anybody to go and say they are protesting because they want free Kanu. They want Kanu to be freed unconditionally. Kanu cannot be freed unconditionally. He has a case to answer.
Okay, but let me hold your thoughts on your next question. I understand we have a video from the protest in Abuja this morning, very early this morning, around 8:20. Let's quickly take this, and then when we return, Ajibola will take your question, and then we'll also ask our guest here. Would also let's listen to this, and then. Okay, you're just playing. All right, go ahead, and then we'll talk to the video this morning. Ajibola, you can ask your question. Is it related to the protest?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, okay. You did mention that Kanu is trying to play some antics, and justice delayed is always justice denied. So what is the implication of this delay on the efficiency of our judicial system?
He doesn't speak well of our judicial system. When I'm talking about the judicial system, it's not only about the judges. A judge will sit in his or her court. It is what you bring that the judge will take from you and will listen to. The people who are prosecuting this man, the police, the DSS, they are prosecuting this man. The people who ought to have gathered their evidence before bringing this man to court. The people who are supposed to move the case forward in the court, what are they doing? A judge cannot act on evidence that is not before him or her. So I think we should be asking the DSS, we should be asking the police, why is this case dragging? Those people who are responsible for collating all the evidence against this man and then coming to court. We should be asking the Attorney General of the Federation, why is the case dragging? Why have they not been able to do what the government of Finland was able to do within months with Simon Ekpa? Why is Kanu's case different? Why is it that since the last government, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari arrested this man, that they had not been able to have evidence? And that is one of the problems that we have with the agencies that have been charged with the responsibility of investigating people who have committed one crime or the other and bringing them to justice. One of the evidence that we journalists have had is that they first of all arrest people. And after arresting them and putting them in detention, they will not be forum shopping for judges. They will not be forum shopping for gathering evidence. It's not supposed to be so. You're supposed to have gathered your evidence before you take somebody to court. Or if in the case of Kanu, we say it's a little bit different because they had to first of all ensure that they get it, and maybe they got in before they got their evidences together. But 2, 3, 4 years. That is enough time for you to have whatever evidence that you have. And if you don't have enough evidence, release him.
Okay. Let's quickly talk about the conduct of security operatives. If we remember this day 5 years ago, October 20th, of course, was the NSAS project. And we know that since that time till now, the Lekki toll gate has not remained the same. And so if we look at how our operatives, security operatives also handle protests and protesters, judging from what we saw 5 years ago, what should have changed? What are they still doing that you think, in your opinion, they should have risen above? We understand this morning that live ammunitions were still used against protesters, when actually, in actual sense, we expect that what they should be using should be water cannons, rubber bullets, and not live ammunition. So you'd like to speak to that? Yeah,
I would like to say that the situation has improved.
Okay.
I was a student activist in the university days, and we really knew how these law enforcement agencies responded to us, ordinary students, carrying no arms, just singing songs and things like that. And now we see that even people who are adults who come out to protest, we also see the way they respond. I think there is an improvement, though we have not yet gotten to the point where we can safely assume that people will go out to demonstrate and they will get back to their homes safely without being hurt. But we are getting there. It is not good that they should use live ammunitions. It is not good that they should see protesters as enemies. In fact, I think we need a lot of education, political education. Our security people need a lot of education. They need to understand that some of the things that these protesters are demanding are also in their own interest. Yes. It's not as if you see protesters as if they are your enemies. You see, I have had the opportunity of discussing with some of these law enforcement agencies at barricades when we used to demonstrate in those days. They will see you as an enemy. You have to be explaining to them that you are no enemies. Students, you are supposed to be in your school learning. You are privileged people. When you come, one was telling us that he has spent 20 years, he's still a sergeant. You now, when you come out of the university, they will start with you, you become, and you are not even happy with that. Instead of you to stay quietly, instead of you to stay quietly, and he said, no, what we are doing is, we started explaining. They couldn't understand it. You see, that is the problem with many of these security people we have out there. Many of them, the level of their education, maybe, academic qualification, and then the level of their political consciousness is very, very low. So they don't understand what you are fighting for. Many of them, they just see themselves as agents of government. They don't see themselves as protectors of the people. That the weapons they are carrying, they are supposed to use it to protect the people, not to turn it against the people. They don't see you, the people, as the taxpayer who is paying their salaries. So they see the government as the one that is paying their salaries, as if the government is the one that is making the money and that is paying their salaries. So it is that level of political consciousness that is not allowing them to be able to align with the rights of protesters and their own obligations as defenders of the public. So we need to still do more political education of our security forces, people. And then we need to up the level of people we are employing. You see, when we employ what I call the lumping elements, the ragtags of the society, those are the lowest rung of the society.
Right.
They are the ones who just put uniforms on. You see, look around, see them. You see some of them, you wonder, you say, did this one have education? And they are in uniform, and they are carrying guns. What kind of education did they have? What kind of orientation did they have? What kind of political consciousness do they have? What is their own idea of the people? How do they understand their jobs? So I think that's very important. If we get people who are well-trained, well-educated, and who have hope, many of them, they don't have any hope. You put them there, you are paying them 100 and something thousand or something like that. It doesn't take them home, so they don't have any hope of anything. So they are already disgruntled, they are already frustrated, and then you kit them and you empower them with guns, and then you now unleash them on people they see as privileged sections of the society. You people are privileged. They will see children and say, what is wrong with this one? This one is a multi-millionaire. This one has everything. He lives in America. His family is in America. He's coming here to cause trouble, to disturb us. That's the way they are going to look at it. They are not going to see it as he's fighting for people's rights.
Right.
So it is a level of education and the quality of people we put in our security services that is making us to see some of this errant behavior that we are seeing. If we want to put a stop to it, we must really sit down and decide what kind of police force, what kind of security force do we want to have, and then we must work towards it. Countries that have actually attained it up to a level, they have to sit down and decide what they want. And even at that, we have seen cases of brutality meted out to people along social lines, along ethnic lines, even in places like the United States, in Britain. Those people that we look up to. It's not as if it's bed of roses as far as the protests are concerned, or as far as the behavior of security forces are concerned. No, we have beasts everywhere. Yes.
Okay. What I'm about to say is going to be very controversial or factual or funny. Do you think there's any link or what we had recently about the presidential clemency and pardon? Is that part of what emboldened members of the Take It Back movement to also demand for the free Nnamdi Kanu protest?
What we had recently,
because the list is controversial, and we had murderers, drug barons as part of those that were granted pardon by the president. Yeah,
it's very unfortunate. But you see, a lot of people don't understand how government works. If you have had the opportunity of looking into government, you will see that certain things happen that will not be what the government intends to do. I do not think that this government will open its eyes and decide on a list that will include murderers, drug barons, and things like that. I do not think so. I have seen instances where things are smuggled in. Yes, I have seen it. Where things are smuggled in. After a speech has been prepared, after a document has been prepared, somebody slips in something. I've seen it on some occasions with some of the political actors I have worked with, governors and all of them, that it will cause embarrassment to everybody. I suspect that something must be wrong somewhere. The Attorney General of the Federation has said that they are going to do so. They are going to look at it. Did was anything smuggled in? That is one thing. And you see, a lot of people think that the president is powerful. Yes, the president is powerful. Even in the U.S., I was reading something the other time when Barack Obama, former president of the U.S., said that there were some rooms in the White House that he was not allowed to enter. That he did not enter as president. Said there were certain people he could not fire without consulting some people. Can you imagine that? And you say that he's president, the most powerful man in the world. Is a lie. You say that this is the president, is the most, it's a lie. There are certain people within, even outside of government, that holds the hands of the president. That the president can't do this, the president can't do that. I heard somebody tell the government, Excellency, you cannot do this. Excellency said, why can't I do it? He said, you can't do it because of source. They gave him reasons. In frustration, he just left. I have seen a governor that went to one KBC to complain that the contractor you recommended, see what is KBC just asked the contractor to prostrate. He hit the contractor with his horse whip. But don't do that.
And
again.
that was
don't
it.
Do that again. And he said, and the governor was now asking, KBC, is that all? He said, what else do you want me to do? Governor left there weeping. He went out weeping. So there are certain things that happen.
So it's not as easy as we see it.
It's not as easy as we see it. It cannot be that the president will open his eyes like this without anything and be granting pardon to drug baron, granting pardon. Let them get, when they get to the root of it, you will see that they will make some amendments.
Okay. But I have to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Bola Bolawale, for finding time to be with us on the program today. Well, that's the much we take on this side of the table. We'll take a quick break. The conversation returns shortly.